Everyone, this is Brian with Vermillion Enterprises. Today is June 10th, 2024. I think gold is somewhere right around 2,300, give or take. It dipped below 2,300 last week. We'll see what this week brings. I assume it will bring more volatility. Silver is around $29.60 the last I checked, up and down. It dipped in $29.20 last week. Again, I don't know whether it'll go up or down. I assume it'll do both, and with noticeable volatility as we have seen over the last 3 or so months, more volatility than I can ever remember at any point in time. It has definitely been very interesting. So today is Monday, and I want to go over a couple things. One is our YouTube channel, as have other YouTube channels, have been getting blasted with spam again. And noticeably, people pushing their BS cryptocurrency scams that are trying to get you to interact with them and then basically just steal your money. So what I wanted to say was that what you see a lot of are people who are trying to mimic the channel holder. So yesterday we got one of our videos got blown up with spam. Somebody who actually copied our logo and made a Vermillion Enterprises call signal, and then started responding to other people's comments with a WhatsApp number so that they could try to initiate doing business with them, acting as us or representing us. And then you send them the money, and you obviously, the money will be stolen from you. So I just want to let you guys and gals know out there, Vermillion Enterprises will never, ever, ever reach out to you to try to sell you something. If you get a message that looks like it's from us trying to initiate a sale on something, know that it is not us. And that's true with any of the others. Well, I should say it's probably true with any others. I know, for example, AppMax is not going to reach out to any one specific person and say, hey, Mr. Smith, we got this great deal for you, and call this number, and or email this address, or follow this link. That's not going to happen. Don't do that. All right, if you want to make a purchase from us or any of the other online guys or gals, go through their webpage, go through their documented phone number or their email. Do not follow any links that are sent to you, especially that are uninitiated. Do not call any numbers that are not affiliated with the published store's information on their website. Definitely do not, if anybody reaches out to you with a WhatsApp or a Venmo, or what's the other, Apple Pay?
Apple Pay, Cash App.
Apple Pay and Cash App are probably the two that are used the most to defraud people that I can think of. Any others that are routinely used?
Venmo, Cash App, Apple Pay. I'm pretty sure there's a new Cash App kind of thing coming out every other day now.
WhatsApp, Cash App, that type of thing. Just stay away from it. None of the businesses that are doing this are going to ever solicit you with a WhatsApp or a Cash App or an Apple Pay type address in the reach out email or message. So just keep that in mind. The internet is a great thing. It's a very powerful thing, but there are a number of bad operators out there who are trying to just take your money. And that's what they do. And unfortunately, they have some level of success with it, or they wouldn't do it anymore. So just as a heads up, we will never, ever, ever reach out to you and try to solicit you something. And we will never, ever use a WhatsApp, Cash App, or anything like that. So they're very good. They're very tricky at disguising themselves, making them look like the person that you are originally interacting with. So just keep that in mind. Is there anything you want to add to that, Tim?
So if you do see a fake Vermillion Enterprises account soliciting you, well, it's pretty easy to tell it is fake because our phone number is right on the screen, right at the bottom.
Yeah.
So that's the only phone number that We have.
Yeah,
That's the only.
Yeah, it's the only one that we. It's not the only one we have, but it's the only one that we make available to the public.
Yeah.
So it's that's Tim's absolutely right. If you ever want to reach out to the shop, call 352-585-9772. And if you get a message and you think, I'm not sure if this is from them or if this is spam or a scam or whatever, always reach out to that 585-9772 number and verify. If you think you're getting messages that are from us or from any other company, and it doesn't even matter whether they're a precious metal company, whether it's somebody that's, any industry really, there's people out there trying to take advantage. Reach out to that specific shop through their published phone numbers on their website and ask if, hey, is this you guys? Because there's a lot of gnarliness going on out there, especially if you are being reached out to unsolicited. So just wanted to throw that out there. This is the reason why we left Meta, because Facebook and Instagram is just rife with scams. So, and it's so much harder to moderate and stay on top of. YouTube, it's a little bit easier to stay on top of and doesn't seem to be as bad, but it still can and does happen. So it is easier to take care of, though, through YouTube rather than the metaverse. So anything to add to that, Tim?
No, that's about it.
That's about it. All right, good. So in the last video we did, what was this, Friday? Let me just verify. Yeah, 2 days ago. So yeah, Friday. We were asked the question. I thought it was a great question, and I thought I would talk about it and answer it here on in this video. So in the last video, Jason and Julie M4163 asked, or stated, I guess, I'm worried, and I bet you are too, about the volatility, being in the precious metals industry, reaching a point where people have to deadlock positions and become inflexible. That is when things really start breaking. It happened with the peanut market and caused huge disparities between brand between brand prices. Jif was $3, Skippy was $5, generic was stuck at $4, and nobody could change prices without taking a bad hit. Buyers in Georgia and Alabama could not make adjustable offers, and growers couldn't get a locked price until they started offloading. Some growers and buyers either died or had to massively reorganize. So that's an interesting point and question, I guess. Am I worried about volatility reaching that point? No, I don't see that happening in the gold and silver markets, because we're last case scenario, anything that we buy to offload goes to the refinery. So the only thing that might happen at some point, usually the refineries that we deal with use a price that's somewhere around the Kitco bid price. So it's very close to that. And I think that's a good marker to use right now for us. But it might get to a point where they go to the futures price, and the futures price can be noticeably different than what the current bid price is. And you guys can look into that. Oftentimes it is lower, so that actually could happen. And so, especially with the refineries, because they're moving massive amounts of metal. And so they might go to the point where they're just using the futures contract, futures price. And if that happens, then we'll have to do that too, or shops like this will do that, or the online guys will often might do that, and some actually already do. So that might be why some people complain or inquire about why is there such a price differential in one place's bid price versus another place, and oftentimes that's because they're using futures pricing when it comes to listing their spot. We typically float around the Kitco price because currently, right now, the places that I source metal from use very similar pricing. So it works right now, but that, of course, is always subject to change, just like the price of gold and silver is subject to change, and also so are the premiums. So premiums can be just as volatile as the price of gold and silver. And of course, here at Vermillion Enterprises, we always reserve the right to change the premiums as we see fit as the market fluctuates. So back to what Jason and Julie asked here. My bigger concern right now isn't volatility deadlocking the industry. My bigger concern is if we get to a point where, and I think this would happen if silver got north of 40, is that not even then we would see a deadlock in premiums or movement or stagflation, as Jamie Dimon would like to say. We would have a deadlock in payment. So in this, we have a history of this. So in this industry, back when silver got in the 40s and 50s, what has happened is guys like myself would unload at the refinery, right? Whether they're selling our scrap or bullion or whatever, and it could take up to 30 days to get paid. That's a problem. So that's a real problem, and that's something that I could easily see happening again, especially if silver got north of 40. So because everyone, I don't care how big they are, even the biggest players in the world only have so much cash, and there is so much silver out there. Just millions upon millions upon millions of tons of silver out there available in the hands of people on the street. So it is, and of course, the higher the price of silver goes up, the more valuable that is. And we not too long ago were selling a box of rounds for like $10,500, $11,000, and now it's like $15,000. And now if it goes up to 40, then it becomes even more expensive. So it becomes closer to, well, it becomes $20,000. And so those boxes begin, more and more. One of the people or one of the industry refineries I do a lot of business with over the last couple of years recently bought 60,000 ounces of silver from one gentleman. That's one gentleman, 60,000 ounces. And so that's 120 boxes. So that was all silver that they had sold to that gentleman over the years. He accumulated, and it reached whatever the number was at the time. It reached his sell price, and so he just sold it all back. So one individual sold 60,000 ounces of silver. So that's how much is out there. Now, they are a massive company that bought it back so that they can deal with those numbers and move forward. But can you imagine if those numbers were not, that amount of silver wasn't getting processed in a normal time period? If it did get pushed out to a 30-day period, that is what would be the most damaging thing, I think, to this industry, is if payment went to a net 30. And we have a history of that happening in the past. So that isn't an issue right now, but if silver does go up, which there's a lot of indication that after the election there could be some very interesting precious metal prices out there. I think things could get dicey with money moving, not product moving, but money moving. And what happened in the past when the big refineries and the big dealers, the wholesalers went to net 30, is they actually had two prices. So they had a price that you get paid right now, which is substantially lower, or you could get the normal price, but we're going to pay you in 30 days. So if you're getting the right now price, you're getting way back of spot on your material. That was back when silver went north of 40. So if that happened again, that could be a very interesting situation. Now, the difference between the last couple times silver went north of 40 and today is there is so much more cash out there. So there's a lot more purchasing power available to pretty much all businesses at this point in time. So maybe that will buffer that a little bit. But at the same time, there's so much more cash out there. There's so much more silver out there. People just don't understand how many millions of ounces of silver are floating around on the street. And there never was a silver shortage. Right now, definitely, you could say there's a surplus out there. And we'll see if silver does keep matriculating up over time and we get to 40 or above. We'll see what happens with payment processing, because that could obviously be a very big concern. There's some industry giants that we deal with now. They're already on a 2 to 3 week payment. So if we got even more, if silver even got more expensive, I could see that easily becoming a 30-day situation. but they pay the best, so we allow them to hold on to our product for 2 or 3 weeks before they pay us, because right now we can handle that financially, but it may get to a point where we can't, and then it is just going to be turn and burn. So what do you think about that, Tim?
Yeah, and with that mentioning of the silver surplus, we did a video last year, I think it was a year ago, about A-Mark sales numbers.
Yeah, refer back to that, and you can see just how much silver is out there being distributed by just one company. Now, they are the biggest company in the precious metals industry, at least in the West. So it is, their numbers don't reflect everybody's numbers in the industry, but that is, Tim's right, that is just one conglomerate of subsidiaries in the industry, and their numbers are just amazing. So just the amount of bulk precious metals that company has put on the street, that doesn't include the other, 9 or whoever authorized purchasers from the U.S. Mint. So, so I thought that was a great question, comment, whatever you want to call it, and thought it would be fun to answer that in a video, along with the PSA about being head on a swivel regarding people trying to scam you through social media platforms. YouTube's no exception. Meta's much worse, but just keep that in mind that most shops, business owners, ourselves included, will never, ever reach out to you to try to solicit you a product. We will always wait for you to come to us. So, any final thoughts on that, Tim?
So just to clarify on that part, during our bin videos, we will say, please reach out to the shop and we will gladly get you taken care of.
Yeah.
But yeah, only contact the number that you see on the screen and on our website. If it's a WhatsApp, do not respond.
That's it. So, yeah, I think that's good. We accept payment via cash, wire, Zelle, and personal checks up to $5,000. So that's the only way we accept payment, and have for years. So, if someone's reaching out to you, hey, this is Vermillion Enterprises, and we want to give you this, make this amazing deal for you. We want to sell you, 10-ounce Engelhart bars at $25 an ounce. We just need you to send some money over to our Venmo account. That's not us. All right. That we don't use Venmo, we don't use Cash App, we don't use WhatsApp. So we don't take credit cards or debit cards. So if anybody approaches you saying, hey, all we need is you to send money via, Venmo or whatever, no, that's not us. All right. Well, we appreciate all the business, guys and gals, and we'll see what this week brings. I think it'll bring volatility, if nothing else. I hope you guys enjoy your week and have fun. All right. Bye.